engaging conversation about what's working, how can we learn from that, how can we make adjustments. And so we're going to do another one of those summits. It's called A New Way Forward. You can find it online, encourage anyone to join. But there are coalitions and collaborative opportunities like that popping up all over the place to try to meet the emerging needs of our students, our families, and communities and society overall.
That's phenomenal. 3,000 people coming together to collaborate in a free environment, so to speak. You know, I will say that we've realized as a chamber that, you know, this new reality does actually create some opportunities. And that sounds like to me like a phenomenal opportunity for educators to collaborate in a way and in a format that they might not ever have had before. And, you know, so that's fantastic. Okay, so a fun question. What's the most interesting or unique expression of trying to celebrate high school graduation have you seen from across the country so far?
Oh, that's a good one. You know, people are getting really resourceful. I did see a joke the other day that, you know, if students really want to experience graduation, they should wrap themselves in a shower curtain and have someone read the phone book for a long time, which is kind of the worst version of graduation, right? But no, people are being really resourceful and coming up with great ways to celebrate the resilience of our students. And my own daughter's a high school senior. They're going to do a drive-through celebration initially, and they've scheduled an in-person graduation later in the summer. So we're seeing a lot of that where people are trying to do what they can when they can, and then also trying to create the time space for us to come together and celebrate in community. And I'll tell you what, the class of 2020 is they will be remembered forever. Such a unique group. And I've been so impressed with my own daughter, but also just the resilience and flexibility of students all across the country, and particularly here in North County, Carlsbad, Vista, Oceanside, San Marcos, that we can take a lot of pride in our youth and draw a lot of optimism from the flexibility and adaptability and the courage they've shown through this pandemic.
That's great. Yeah, you're right. The class of 2020 will be memorable, you know, well, let's hope that there's not many more of these, you know, in years to come, that this becomes old hat. But I think they will have a very memorable story to share with their kids, with their grandkids, with whoever they interact with over the years, to say, I was part of that class, so to speak. I saw a great story this morning on the local news of a small school. I think it's down in South County somewhere. You know, it was 8th graders who were graduating, you know, or promoting to the next level. And they literally drove to the home of each one and did a little celebration there, you know, of course, with proper physical distancing and all those things. But it was a neat way to just acknowledge their accomplishments in this new world. I loved your little joke, though, about wrapping them up in a shower curtain and reading the phone book to them. And one of my sons graduated college a couple years ago, and at his college graduation, boy, it was fascinating to see people who came as soon as the person they were there to see who was announced, they exited like in droves because they didn't want to sit through the phone book listing. So very funny. You know, I think next school year is going to be quite interesting. You know, we're seeing some of the universities, some of them are already announcing one way or the other, you know, like the Cal State system saying, hey, we're going to be all online to start, or yeah, the Cal State system. But one of my sons goes to USD down in San Diego, and so far they've said they're going to be open for in-person. My son, who is a math teacher in the Midwest, he's in North Dakota. They had very minimal impact. They are distance learning right now, but they've already said they're planning to go back to regular classroom settings in the fall. So there's going to be a wide diversity throughout this country. And of course, the different pockets where people are affected differently will have to adapt, as you pointed out. But I think there are a lot of things we've learned, and you know, the resilience of teachers, I think, is amazing. If we didn't value them before, I know there's millions of parents who were just thrust into homeschooling for the first time who now really, really even more so value those teachers than they ever did before, which is understandable. Any last thoughts? We really appreciate you taking your time, Devin, and sharing your experience from consulting across the country. Any last thoughts about, you know, the world and of education and that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Well, again, just, you know, thanks for the opportunity to be here. You know, whether it's global pandemics or rapid technological advancements, we live in an era of rapid change, and we need to be preparing our kids to thrive in a context of great adaptation. And so, again, I'm very hopeful based on what I'm seeing, but we have to orient to helping students to be lifelong learners because once they finish K-12 or higher education, the journey doesn't stop there. We all need to be embracing this idea that we need to be learning, adapting, figuring out how to best be in service to one another. And so, again, you know, it's challenging times, but I'm very optimistic and hopeful that we're going to come through this stronger, better, and with a renewed commitment to make sure that every single kid is successful and prepared to thrive as a lifelong learner.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us here in Carlsbad and in North County. And you've been a big part of the fabric of the impact and success of the education system here for a number of years. And so we appreciate you doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off your mic. And if you could turn off your screen there. And thank you so much.